He only brushed the handlebar, barely grazed it on his way past the line of gleaming motorcycles. But that was enough. At least enough for one guy to lose it. Didn't matter that it was just an old man with a paper bag under his arm, walking slow, wrapped in an army-issued jacket from the early 80s. Didn't matter that he stopped right away, turned around, lifted his hands like, hey, my bad. The biker didn't see an accident. He saw an easy target. One slap, loud and sharp as a firecracker, and the old man hit the ground. He was still holding that paper bag. People saw it. People heard it. Nobody moved. Not one damn person. But 30 minutes later, things moved. The sky shivered, and from above came a sound not one soul could ignore. The low, rolling thunder of rotor blades. A Blackhawk sliced through the clouds and landed dead center on Main Street. Doors flew open. Boots hit pavement. The kind of entrance you don't forget. Because that man lying on the sidewalk, he wasn't just some old vet with a cane and a quiet walk. He was someone's father, and someone's unit was watching. Most folks around town barely noticed Walter Briggs. Old guy, quiet type, wore the same olive jacket every Thursday like clockwork. Walked past the bar, stopped for a coffee, sometimes mailed a postcard to his grandson. Never caused trouble, just kept to his rhythm like a song only he remembered. 84 years old, retired Army mechanic. 3 tours, 2 commendations, 1 busted hip and a cane that clicked with every step. Never once asked for anyone's attention, didn't need it. All he wanted was to be left alone, walk slow, sip something hot, and maybe buy a loaf of bread without getting knocked on his ass. That morning had a bite to it cold enough that Walter pulled his jacket tight and stuck to the sunny side of the street. The paper bag in his arm held the essentials, bread, cough drops, and a postcard he meant to send out that afternoon. He wasn't in a rush, just passing by, same as always. Across the street, the bikers were out laughing too loud, leaning against their motorcycles like they owned the whole damn town. Walter didn't flinch. He'd heard worse in the Gulf, and that's when it happened. His coat brushed a handlebar. Barely. Didn't even leave a mark. The bike rocked for half a second and settled. Walter turned, lifted his hands. Didn't mean to touch it, son. My jacket's thicker than I thought. But kindness, it seems, doesn't always reach thick skulls. One of them tall guy, mirrored shades, arms like rope, stepped forward and swung. The slap cracked loud enough to echo down the block. Walter dropped, not dramatically, just collapsed like a tree giving up in a storm. Bread rolled into the gutter, and nobody said a word. He didn't cry, didn't scream, just started picking up his bread, one shaky hand at a time, while the bar crowd sipped beers and pretended they didn't see him. That part hit harder than the slap. The biker? Back to laughing with his buddies like it was just another story to brag about. Walter gathered what he could, fixed his posture, and shuffled to the nearest bench. He didn't touch his bruised cheek. Just sat there, breathing slow, holding onto that bag like it still meant something. Because it did. To him. He'd saved lives once. Back in '70, pulled 3 guys out of a burning Jeep under sniper fire. But now, not a single person could hand him a tissue. A teenager passed, headphones in, eyes down. Walter raised a hand, just barely a signal, a test. The kid didn't look up. He wasn't asking for help. He was checking if he still existed. And you know what? It was starting to feel like he didn't. But here's the thing about old soldiers, they don't go down easy. Walter reached into his coat and pulled out a flip phone, scratched, and taped together like a relic from another time. One button mattered. Eagle 6. He pressed it. Then he waited. 15 minutes later, the ground started humming. Just a low vibration, at first the kind your bones notice before your ears do. A woman stepped out of the diner, furrowed her brow. Then a bartender came out, wiping his hands. "That's not a truck," he muttered. No, it wasn't. It was thunder wearing blades. The Blackhawk didn't just arrive, it descended. Fast, low, purposeful. A matte black SUV rolled in from the other side like a chess piece, moving to end the game. Doors opened. Boots landed. No one shouted. No one needed to. These weren't boys playing soldier, these were wolves in formation. And then came the man in front. Not flashy. No sunglasses. Just presence. Strong jaw. Clean lines. Eyes that had seen too much. He didn't scan the crowd. He didn't bark orders. He walked straight to the bench, to his father. Kneeling slowly, he reached for Walter's cheek. I got here as fast as I could. Walter didn't need to reply. That moment said enough. And that's when the biker, still grinning by the door, turned. And the grin? Yeah, it disappeared. Commander Briggs stood tall, not in rage, but in truth. His men spread out, quiet as mist, sealing the block like time itself had paused. No weapons drawn, none needed. The street went silent. Inside the bar, the music stopped. The biker stepped back. Man, it was just some old guy, he said, hands raised, fake casual. He bumped my ride. Briggs didn't blink. That old man served while you were still struggling with the alphabet. The air thickened. Someone recording whispered, damn. The biker rolled his shoulders. You military guys think you can storm in and... You think this is about ego? Briggs asked. One step forward. Just one. Enough. I'm here because my father bled while cowards laughed. He turned. One subtle nod. A soldier radioed in. 2 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up. No siren, no lights. Just calm inevitability. The officers didn't ask questions. Briggs pointed. They cuffed the biker, no scuffle, no drama. The kind of arrest that tells a man, you're not in charge anymore. As the biker disappeared into the cruiser, the town began to wake up. A woman stepped forward with a tissue. A boy saluted. A veteran from the Navy joined Walter on the sidewalk. Then another from the Air Force. One by one, they stood beside him not for the cameras, but for each other. Briggs stepped back. Let happen. His men stayed still. This wasn't a mission anymore. It was memory. It was healing. It was respect. That night, the video went viral. No music, no edits, just truth. People didn't just see what happened. They felt it. Walter Briggs, veteran. Quiet strength. The bar released a lame statement. Nobody cared. The mayor called. Asked if they could host an event to honor him. Only if it's not for press, Briggs said. If it's for him, he'll be there. A week later, the whole town showed up. Accourus. Chairs lined up. And Walter rolled in a wheelchair, this time because someone finally offered to push him, and he finally said yes. Commander Briggs took the mic. My father never raised his voice, never threw a punch, but his life it shouted. The ovation lasted 4 minutes. Not for glory, for dignity. Long overdue. And then came the letter. No return address. Handwritten. 6 words. If you'll meet me, I'll listen. From the biker. Walter didn't have to respond, but he did. Because sometimes the battlefield isn't war, it's what comes after. In a courthouse room, Walter met him. No cameras, no uniforms, just 2 men. Kyle, that was his name, said, I didn't know who you were. That's the problem, Walter said. You didn't care. They talked. Kyle confessed his dad was a soldier, too. Vietnam. Came back broken. Kyle grew up hating what he didn't understand. Walter nodded. He knew that kind of pain. Kyle handed him a paper therapy forms, VA volunteer sign-up. I want to earn it back. You won't earn it fast, Walter replied, placing a hand over his. But show up every day, and you'll get there. Months later, Broad Street looked different. A plaque stood tall. In honor of Sergeant Walter Briggs, a quiet shield between us and chaos. Below it, etched deep. He never asked to be seen. He simply stood. People stopped now. Left flowers. Saluted. And that park behind the bar? Briggs Field. Walter still visited Thursdays. Same jacket. Same slow steps. But now, someone always waved first. Kyle drove the VA shuttle. No patch. No title. But the work fit like a uniform. Commander Briggs visited once more. Sat beside his father. You changed this place, Dad. Walter just smiled. Maybe. Or maybe they remembered. And as the breeze rolled by, you could almost hear rotors again. Not from the sky, from memory. Because one man refused to fall alone. If you believe respect shouldn't wait for pain, if you believe some uniforms never really come off, share this story. Type honor in the comments and let us know. When was the last time your community truly stood still for what mattered?